What's going on with Igor Shesterkin? Just one of the hot topics to discuss with our insiders, Chris Johnson, Pierre LeBrun, and Darren Dreger. Gentlemen, certainly looks like Igor Shesterkin is set to become the highest paid goalie in the NHL. The only question is, for how much? And now, Chris, word that $11 million a year will not get it done?
Well, our loyal insider trading viewers will know that the Rangers have been willing to go above $10.5 million that Carey Price makes for some time now. We've reported that during the preseason. But what's interesting is that we're getting to this point on the verge of the regular season. They still haven't got to a number that Igor Shesterkin is willing to sign off for. And the main reason that's of interest is that Shesterkin previously indicated a desire to get this done and taken care of during training camp, wanting to just focus once the puck drops on Wednesday for their game against Pittsburgh on the season to come. Obviously a big year for the Rangers, and it remains to be seen if he'll hold firm to that, because at this point it's believed while he maybe not insisting on an 8-year deal, perhaps Shesterkin will go something a little shorter than that if the Rangers meet his number. They haven't got there yet, and this is obviously a number that's going to reset the goalie market, that's going to be well above what Price got if Shesterkin gets it, and he appears ready to stick to his guns.
Well, CJ, Jeremy Swayman, as we know, reset the RFA goalie market with his deal with the Bruins on Sunday, and one goalie, same age as him, Jake Oettinger, was paying pretty close attention, I think, to what was going on with that negotiation with the Boston Bruins. Oettinger, also 25, RFA at the end of the season, and there's no question in anyone's mind that that Swayman extension will have an impact on those talks between the Dallas Stars and Jake Oettinger. Now, I'm told that there have not been meaningful discussions yet on an extension between the Stars and Oettinger, led by agent Ben Atkinson. I think all things being equal, that Oettinger and his agent probably are fine waiting until after the season. But it would not surprise me if Jim Neal, the GM of the Stars, would try to get this going here in season.
When the Leafs drop the puck on their regular season on Wednesday night, they'll do so with 6 players going to the final year of their current NHL contracts, and that includes John Tavares. Is there anything happening on that front, Pierre?
Well, there's something happening from the point of view that there have been contract talks. There's been back and forth between Tavares' camp, led by agent Pat Brisson, and the Leafs front office just to get the ball rolling. I don't think anything is imminent. Although I do hear that that dialogue is supposed to pick up again in the near future. I don't know if there's a huge rush from the team perspective. I mean, listen, there's a mutual desire between the team and John Tavares to get something done at some point. John Tavares, of course, calls Toronto home, is raising a family in Toronto. But I think from the Leafs perspective, yeah, something they want to get done. I don't know if they're in a rush to do it.
There's some potentially huge news on the junior hockey front right now. The rule has always been you play a single game in Major Junior in Canada, you immediately become ineligible to play in the NCAA. Could that change as soon as this week, Darren, especially on the heels of some class action lawsuits that have been preventing that from happening?
It absolutely could change this week, worst case, as late as next summer. But the belief is, Gino, that there will be change. The Division I Council is expected to vote as late as tomorrow as to whether or not they are going to change the ban. Now, it's a challenging one, and the timing especially is the biggest concern to the 3 leagues, the Ontario Hockey League, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, the Western Hockey League, which make up the CHL. If they change the ban, which many believe that they will it be effective immediately, or will it kick into next year? If it's effective immediately, what does that mean? Does that mean that the NCAA could pull players from the CHL perhaps as early as the second semester? That's where it gets more legally complicated, because keep in mind, CHL players are all signed to a contract, a standard player agreement. So if it's effective immediately and there are no restrictions other than the academic qualifications and the eligibility clearinghouse, then I would expect that the Canadian Hockey League will push back in some way, shape, or form. But we'll know more about that, fellas, later this week.
Speaking of young players, we're seeing some under-20s making their mark in the NHL, CJ.
Yeah, but not many of them. Just 10 of the 712 players that made opening night rosters are teenagers That's only 1.4%, and none of them were bigger surprises than Jet Luchenko, who made the Philadelphia Flyers out of training camp. He came to that camp. They didn't even expect the 13th overall pick to challenge for a job, but they have an organizational need at center. A very speedy, good skater, and he made a strong impression. So he starts the year in Philadelphia, just one of two 18-year-olds in the league to start the season, but it's going to be a tryout continuing for Luchenko. He can only go back to Guelph in the Ontario Hockey League or stay with the Flyers, so he'll be monitored closely by Flyers management here.
They are the insiders, Chris Johnston, Pierre LeBrun, and Darren Dreger.